Hey, how's it going, everyone? So this video is one of those rare sightings where you see me start a drawing from the beginning and take it all the way to the end. And usually I just start the videos kind of after I've gotten the initial sketching, all the roughing out done and just got the idea that I want, and I start to ink it and color it. But this time around, I started the entire drawing on stream. I was kind of just doodling around. I was kind of messing around with practicing gestures and stuff. And I came across this image on Pinterest. It was a model just sitting on a stool. So I was just kind of, drawing it. But then I wanted to keep streaming, so I just kept going at it. And it eventually just became this elf girl who's wearing some armor. Obviously, I looked at some reference in terms of the clothing and all the stuff with her, but it's pretty interesting. Usually, I just don't like showing the beginning stages because sometimes I take forever, but I just did it, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so as you can see, it started off with the rough pencil sketch, and then I move on to just kind of playing around, seeing what I want to do with the character. I decided to give her like pointy ears, so I was like, all right, I'll just make this like an elf princess warrior or something. And that's when I started looking up like Hyrule fashion, or like just Princess Zelda and Sheik and all that, and just to see like what kind of armor these characters would have. Anyways, I wanted to talk about the difference between Photoshop and Procreate in this video, because I've tried Procreate so many times and it's fun to sketch in, definitely. Like, I like that there's like a tilt sensitivity with the Apple Pencil where you can, draw as if you're doing some life drawing and you're holding your pencil differently, and the iPad will adjust to that. But from from my experience, I just can't get myself to do finished drawings very well on the Procreate. And I see all these people like either switching from Photoshop to Procreate or just using Procreate on their free time, and they're making this amazing artwork. But for whatever reason, I can't get used to the brush engine on that app. So I can get with the sketch pencils because they're really cool. You can definitely make some really fun like gesture drawings and whatnot with it. But when it comes to like inking and stuff, there's just something about the way the brush feels when I use Procreate. I get this like rubber band feeling when I'm drawing in Procreate with an ink brush, and that's just something I can't get used to. And I love the thing in the app when you have your pencil on the screen and you want to make a curve and you hold it, it'll make that curve like really clean. I think that's something that Procreate's got over Photoshop for sure. But the only thing with that is I tend to have trouble making line variation with that. And also, it's a little buggy still, but obviously it's pretty new, so that's something they're probably working on. But with Photoshop, I'm just so used to the way it feels, so used to the brushes that Kyle Webster has made for them, that I can't seem to let go of it. I'm pretty excited to see the iOS version of Photoshop, just because it's supposed to be a full version of Photoshop, and I want it to be exactly, or I want my workflow to be exactly the same as if I was at my desktop or on a laptop. I know there's not going to be key bindings, but I'm pretty sure they'll allow you to have like a keyboard and attach it. But it's going to have a slightly different interface, and if it's all going to be gestures, I'm sure I'll get used to it. But if the brush engine feels exactly the same as desktop Photoshop, that will change the game for me. I'll be able to carry around my iPad, just my iPad, and draw in Photoshop, and that'd be really cool. But that's the thing. It's definitely a program that a lot of artists are already used to. So I don't know if it'll change the game in terms of drawing apps, because I know a lot of people are pretty angry with Adobe with the subscription model, and plus they're raising prices. So I get that. So a lot of people are like, no, I'm going to stick with Procreate. Plus, they make great artwork in Procreate already. But for me, since Procreate's not working out, I'm pretty excited to see where Photoshop for iPad is going to take us. Hopefully my first generation iPad Pro can run it, because they didn't really make it clear at the conference. But if it doesn't, I'll probably find a way to upgrade to the newest one. Also, Adobe, if you're listening to any of your consumers, please make iPad Photoshop available for all Creative Cloud subscribers, because if you make it its own separate subscription on the App Store, that is going to make a lot of people angry. That being said, though, I'm very excited for the app. But again, Photoshop is definitely my go-to when it comes to drawing programs. Procreate, of course, is just as good, maybe even better for some people. I know a lot of people love the app a lot, but I think it has its limitations. I think if I can get used to the brush engine, I can probably use it. I definitely like the whole hold your brush onto the screen and it makes a shape thing. If that doesn't make sense, like if you make a wobbly circle and you hold your brush at the end, it'll just make a perfect circle or a perfect oval for you, which is really cool. So that would speed up my workflow in terms of making symmetrical shapes and whatnot for Photoshop. But it's not a giant deal breaker for me, because I've figured out a way to do it in my workflow. But anyways, what do you prefer? Do you prefer Procreate or do you prefer Photoshop? Or maybe you prefer Affinity Photo, which I've never touched. I heard really good things about that app. Or maybe you like what's the other one? Clip Studio Paint or GIMP. I don't know. Let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.